Hey guys, Girl Blind Wave, I'm Eric.
I'm Aaron.
And we are back with
Flash.
Last time on The Flash, we had...
Eddie Brock.
No, Thawne.
Yeah, that guy.
We had Eddie Thawne.
Eddie's back.
He showed up to Iris, and we were unsure as to why. We have no idea. We also had Deathstorm stuff dealing with over there at Central City.
Yeah, with Danielle. Caitlin Snow.
Yep. And last time we did have a poll, and that poll was about where from does come this Eddie?
Yeah.
All right, so the poll was, why has Eddie returned? We had 35% of people say it's because of Iris's time sickness.
Okay.
65% say it's because of Deathstorm. Jimmy says, I think he seemed too aware for it to be time sickness. I guess it could be some weird still force shit, but it could make more sense for it to be Deathstorm, especially because Iris doesn't really know what's going on.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely want a way of bringing kind of the two storyline bits we have together somehow, you know?
Spencer says, I say time sickness because Iris seems to be detached from the Deathstorm plot.
That's true. She does. Maybe we can... What happens when you have an already dead guy from time sickness and Deathstorm? Like, can he be like... I don't know. Can he be something?
No. He can't be anything.
Can he be Cobalt?
Yes, he can be a thing.
Okay.
Mike says, I think the team is going to tell Iris it's Deathstorm, and she's going to believe it's time sickness, and the two storylines are going to connect.
What if Iris touches Deathstorm?
One minute makes it disappear? That'd be good. And also, like, she can get rid of, like, our trash.
Yeah.
I don't know where this shit's going, but bloop.
And you don't like...
Yeah, like nuclear waste.
You're not liking trash today.
I'm not liking trash. Well, it's the one thing no one wants.
Trash?
Yeah.
Yeah, but one man's trash, another man's treasure.
Not nuclear waste.
Or death storms. Just imagine if they were like, guys, the storm's coming. Ah, it's alright. It's a death storm. It's like, oh shit, that sounds terrible.
Our last one is MSS Sharky, who says, my opinion on the situation. I don't watch Flash, so I have no idea what this means. But I just wanted to come here and say Eric and Aaron are my favorite members of Blind Wave, which is acceptable.
It's
And
sweet.
we can say that. Calvin and Rick aren't here, so. Did you look for them?
I was looking around for it.
Your favorite chamomile tea. Oh, and don't worry. I know I've been gone a long time, but
Are we in their apartment?
We're in
I'm not
her
leaving.
apartment in
till you're all
the other
better.
city, right?
Okay.
No, they're home. It's your laugh.
I don't sound like that. He's holding hot tea. He's making it hot because he's Deathstorm. Ah.
It's your laugh.
What?
That's how you
I
laugh.
don't sound like that.
The hotter it got, the closer it got.
Beam them into your consciousness. The reaction should transform Frost's body into a being like Deathstorm. You'll be able to create fire, defy gravity.
And consume Deathstorm's fuel source. Once you absorb
Grief?
all that grief energy out of Deathstorm.
I'll be able to snuff him out for good.
What if she turns bad?
It's official.
Can that happen?
Well, she's been bad
Then let's
before.
get crazy. Because I'm not letting this Skeletor.
And she turned good. Skeletor.
How much longer till Chester has the cryo circuit ready?
Sure. Maybe an hour.
We don't have that kind of time. I'm gonna call backup.
Oh god, no.
Blaine, baby!
Chill.
Blaine!
He's here.
Actually, I'm everywhere
Chill. Man, he's invisible.
and nowhere.
I mean, intangible.
Before Maltus, before the stars, during that lonely, blackest of nights.
Blackest night,
No, that's Green Lantern.
brightest day.
I was there when the first beings drew their final hissing
Is he there at everybody?
breaths.
Or is it
I
grief
decline.
It's
things?
gonna be dad, it's gonna be cousin.
And yep.
Or Speed Force.
This is Mom.
I feel like he's gonna be just fine.
I've seen your face tons of times. Don't worry.
Those are the things that make people truly alive. And you don't have them.
Shut up.
Because you are not a real person. You are a faulty experiment, a broken mirror who can't aid me in my cause like the others.
I said, shut the hell up.
We need Choblan here.
Why?
Help and save the day. What do you mean, why?
Come on, in here.
So they can only appear to those that can grieve for them. So Eddie isn't one of them because Sue can see him, right?
No!
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Okay.
This is just another manipulation. You're some part of Death Storm trying to screw with my head.
Why would you say this about me? I'm your mom.
No, you're not.
I came here to help you because I love you oh so much.
You've seen her face so many times, you're fine.
I died. And now your poor sick wife is gonna die too. And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah, you sound just like my mom.
We can phase out of this damn room. That's what we can do. I don't know, he made that hot too, so I think he's Deathstorm. But because she can grieve him, she can see him.
Not seeing any chilies. But I do see you, Sue Dearborn.
Come on, let's go.
Everything's hot.
Can you like get a towel?
You know he's leaving.
Please tell me you can do something to stop this grief, or you can use your powers to help her somehow.
Frost, I am sure as hell gonna try.
Everybody decent?
Oh, finally, what took you so long?
Hey, the cryogenics department at Fast Track Labs has really improved the security recently. Just not as much as they thought.
It's better.
There's a hole in the roof.
Is Caitlin gonna be okay?
Yes, as soon as we get the Mac working. Let's go.
Man.
So he stole a chip from Fast Track Labs?
Yeah, I think so.
That does something.
It's a cryo chip? Cryo something? I can't believe he's wearing a shirt.
Trying to blast a hole.
Why did you stand by while Thawne stabbed me in the gut?
Thawne didn't kill you! He killed my mom. And as much as it hurt, I've accepted her death.
A couple times.
And what about the rest of them?
Thank you for everything.
Have you accepted all their deaths too?
That might be a little more
That's
complicated.
a better one.
Yeah.
But I could erase the reverse flash from existence. And finally, I could be a hero.
Season 1 was so good.
Thawne came back. Again, and again, and again, and again.
And again, and again, and again.
No, no spoons.
I'm young, I'm rich. I'm a total dime. Oh, and before you so rudely destroyed another one of my brand new phones, I hit the panic button.
Hey, Detective Pretty Boy.
What?
Former partner.
Come on, before it wears off, come on.
What was that?
Detective Pretty Boy. He called him Detective Pretty Boy.
This has to work.
Come on.
Master cryogeneticist over here, not just a pretty face. Trust me.
That's why he has a shirt on, so you can take him seriously.
Take him seriously either way.
Deploying dimensional particles.
Anti-Deathstorm. I hope this works, and I hope she stays good. Okay.
Are you okay? Did it work? You anti-Deathstorm?
Well, then one way to find out.
Can you fly? Can you defy gravity?
Anti-gravity powers.
Jury's still out.
Ross. If you are not really alive, where does that leave me?
Yeah.
You're the only person I've ever cared about more than myself. Or at least equal to myself.
That's the best thing he's ever done.
Oliver traded his life for yours.
Stop it!
No, you stop fighting, Barry. Give in to the pain.
Hey, Katie. I'm not even sure if you can hear me, but there's something I need to say.
Get she brief out.
Is this gonna be a goodbye?
I love you more than anything.
Fire.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
Anti-death storm.
Whoa. She's gonna change what she looks like?
Frost, I can feel it radiating off of you. That's because I'm not just Frost. I'm Hell Frost.
Hell shit. Okay.
Alright.
What do we do now?
We kick some ass. And save my sister.
What do we do? Go get Deathstorm?
Yeah, why not?
Even Barry's lightning can't stop him.
And if anything goes wrong?
You'll get me out of there in a flash.
Okay, wait, Flash? Lightning, are you saying that he...
He didn't know, now he knows. He's been brought in.
Everyone knows. There's no secrets.
I was born for this. But I'll give you something to remember me by.
Remember me by?
Is she going to be fulfilling?
I hope she doesn't die.
I think she might.
You think she can be the bride? Is that what you mean?
No, not necessarily. I think she's going to kill Deathstorm and she will die.
Surprise.
What have you done?
Now let's party.
Oh. Surprised that he got tricked by that.
You sure she can do
Sure.
this?
Maybe he was surprised about feeling grief. He didn't think that she could feel grief.
I will burn you to ash.
You first.
That's pretty good.
She kind of reminds me of Sandel.
Too bad you will die.
You can't keep me from my pride. Who do you think you are?
More than you can handle. Go to hell.
Oh, Jesus. So you got the Matrix?
Yeah.
Is that a real...
Now it's time for me to feed.
Oh, and that's what's been helping to keep them together, right?
Yeah, that's what he needed to form.
Him falling apart was kind of cool.
That's it, party people. All traces of supplemental cold fusion and barometric anomalies are gone.
They did it. Deathstorm's gone.
Yeah, Deathstorm.
Guys, I'm not feeling so
There's
hot.
gotta be a consequence. To
Yeah.
this.
Uh-oh.
Come back to me.
Alright, she's just regular Frost.
That's impossible. Clear.
Is she just depowered now? Maybe.
Maybe.
I think we lost Killer Frost.
Yeah, I think so too. Jeez, man.
She's lucky to have you in her life.
We all know I'm lucky to have her in mine.
Mary.
That's not possible.
I'm sorry. She didn't make it. She's gone.
It's blue. Sometimes I don't need a stinger. Sad. Like I was sad enough when it was like they showed the Flash outro with all the color gone.
Sure, yeah.
I'm
the
like,
color
"Ah,"
really
and then I was
got it.
back and I'm like, okay, what's next? Are we teasing up what's good? No, more sadness. Ah!
Just clarifying everyone's gone, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know if the blue was like a blue-white more for like the Hellstorm or Hellfrost kind of thing, or like the Deathstorm, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that the last color was like a blue lightning bolt. Bluish-white lightning.
Yeah, I was asking why blue lightning more than maybe it was just meant to be like a memorial to Frost or something. I don't know. Or it's Cobalt Blue and Eddie is really coming back. I don't know. All right. Well, it's weird. Like
I didn't think they were gonna kill Frost though.
Yeah. It's weird mourning a character while her actress is right there mourning the character. Not weird in a bad way. It's like usually when that happens, like, we're not gonna see him again. No, I love that person. But like, the actress is still there. She just does a great job still. But so like, there's a slight dulling to my grief, which is good because my grief can be used against me by. Well, I'm good now. We are free to grieve.
No, I mean we beat Deathstorm.
Yeah, Frost did.
Yeah.
Or Hellfrost.
Yeah, no, the ending there with like, I think it was more like it was Chilblain and Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Where it's like I like his scene of like the Himalayas and what he was wanting to do, you know?
Me too.
But then like Caitlyn lost her sister basically. Like someone who's been like there protecting her. Like it's been like a guardian angel, and then you know, I was thinking about it during the episode too, and I don't know if we ever really, I'm trying to remember if we ever really talked about it. But like, I remember at one point we had conversations of being like, this Caitlyn Killer Frost thing, like you get powers and the Hulk, and you know, and it's like it's such a difference, and you know, different things and stuff.
We've had endless talks about it.
Yeah, but here, like you know, with I guess wrapping up the character and stuff too. Like, the way that like also you have Frost talking about like how she felt. Like I don't know if we've really had much of that side of things of like what it was like being who she was, but the idea of like it was an entity created to protect Caitlyn, and like she doesn't have any memories until that moment there.
Yeah, and
it makes much more sense of like she manifests to protect Caitlyn, and that's why there's such a difference in personalities and stuff. And it just I wonder, like I haven't rewatched Flash at all, but like rewatching through, I wonder if it'd be more of like a, oh man, this makes a lot more sense going through, or if it's a thing that they kind of like add in later on too. But like I don't really remember that being like a huge point before, but I remember having conversations about like the changes between them.
I mean, I know throughout the 8 seasons or whatever, we were presented with one version that's like, well, it's Caitlyn, but she has powers, but it's developed an alternate personality, and that's what we thought it was. And in my opinion, that's what I think it was meant to be. But we've since changed it, right?
Sure.
And now Killer Frost, they made it so that Killer Frost existed before the particle accelerator, and it's not a matter of dark energy or whatever it is like that. Like she's not a particle accelerator.
She's like a dark matter.
She's a different kind of superpower. So we've changed things, and I think in all of that retroactive continuity, I've never really necessarily considered, like, does she have a soul? You know, at least in that regard. Yeah, because we can confirm in the Arrowverse that souls exist.
When they split off into 2 different people and stuff, like, well, what did that do and everything? But it was like just manifesting the entity that was inside that was made to protect Caitlyn. But like the whole time, like she was her own person, but is like clone aspects of like what makes Caitlyn is mixed in there too. Yeah. So then when you have like her transforming into Killer Frost way back when, and it's like, well, it's just an altered personality, but it's still Caitlyn. It's mostly true because a lot of that is still Caitlyn, but it's slightly different. Yeah. And it's interesting, and I think I like it more, especially with all the talks we had where it's like, why she change so much when she turns on her powers? You know, like that kind of thing was a conversation we had a lot. Yeah. Yep. So, I don't know. I feel like it bookended her character really well as far as like who she was and why she was. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's whether they had any ideas of what they were doing way back when, or how much it changed and when it changed or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it kind of caps it off pretty well. And I don't know if we'd ever see her again. I mean, there's tons of people have died and we see them again, or flashes of them for this or that. Eddie has been gone since season 1. We've seen him twice this season. We have. 3 times if you count the end of last episode.
Sure, I get you. We had the real Eddie, but in the past, and then we had this Deathstorm Eddie. Yeah.
Which that actor is like, when he's like his little menacing, evil self or whatever it is. Like I'm like, this guy sucks. You know, like I love it.
He was made for a really good villain.
Yeah,
I think that he was casted for that, and they went a different way.
Maybe
because he was meant to be a Thawne, right? Like,
yeah, I mean he was a Thawne.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I think he would have been a good villain.
And then we had Robert Thawne mentioned, his uncle that makes famous chicken soup.
Oh yeah,
which I believe that they did that before. Like I think that's a comic character, and they referenced that before, so I think they did it again. Yeah, I mean, you know, I generally liked the episode. I mean, it did the impossible, where it made me empathize and care about Choblain. Because I mean, he just went from kind of like a write-off joke of a character to a legitimate grieving agent here. So that was cool. I was wholly uninterested in Deathstorm trying to pretend to be Barry's mom and make him feel bad about it. I just feel like Barry has dealt with this issue like 6 times in the 8 seasons we've had, and he should just be like, you're like the 7th person to have done this.
Sure. And I think
the Speed Force has done this to me.
I think it's the idea too, is like we're building into like all of them at the same time started hitting that grief point.
It did.
To where they were all getting hit, but Barry's lasted longer because it wasn't like he wasn't concerned about the mother thing. He's like, I've worked through this one. I'm not grieving her anymore. I know what that's like. Yeah. But then when it twists into like, what about everyone else? And
then that one's
then she's attacking him with everybody who's ever died, even Oliver Queen. You know,
it just seemed like
all these things,
a way to just keep Barry in that room, and he can't go and help everybody. It's like, well, what do we do? How do we stop our
main hero,
our level of God speed that can go around and fix things? Well, we'll have him crippled by a conversation with his mom.
Sure.
I just want to be like, I feel like we've already pulled that from the hat a couple times.
Sure.
So bring everybody in, Oliver and the kids and that kind of thing. It's better.
Yeah.
But we left Barry and then we come back to him like 5 times before that happened, and it was a matter of just like, this doesn't do anything for me. I've seen this one, which is a shame because I love when the actress comes back, but I feel like they've used up that card to play. But then they made a card out of thin air with me caring about Choblain, so good for them.
Sure. No, I mean, this is a character, and it's interesting because like we were like, man, Flash never had to fight someone like this before, but then
he didn't.
He didn't. Yeah, he's not what beat it. It was it was more about, which I don't know if it's better or worse or whatnot, but it's also taking characters from season 1 with Caitlin and Ronnie, and it's kind of capping off like a lot of Caitlin's storyline.
It is.
With Ronnie's death, with what Killer Frost was and everything, like we're kind of like passing over all that stuff, and because of Killer Frost, she can finally, I don't know, free Ronnie. Like I don't know exactly if anything of Ronnie was left there, or it's just like what was absorbed and taken by Deathstorm.
This thing just
like took.
Yeah, this thing was nothing or was formless, and then through Ronnie's grief, mirrored itself.
Sure, like that makes sense, I guess, right? Like if you were the only person on Earth, but like somehow you were just there with no one else.
Yeah.
Like you would have nothing. You're like, what do I do? Who am I and all that? And then you have like the one thing he can latch on to is like, well, I can find this grief of Ronnie and his love of what he's grieving, and that's the only thing I know.
I don't think Deathstorm understood grief or loneliness before it encountered Ronnie's.
Yeah.
And like Ronnie's grief taught it to grief, or to feel grief and to feel loneliness, and then it just mirrored itself by it, right?
It's like, this is what I should feel, and this is the power I need.
Do you think about, like, it says, like, I was there before the beginning, and, like, at the beginning of time, but do you ever think about how, like, that universe technically doesn't exist that he's talking about, I think?
If you're going to say Crisis, it's always existed.
Well, it did, but Barry literally was one of the Paragons that created it.
Yeah.
But they created it with age, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so he's always been there.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, so like, is he talking about pre or post crisis universe? It must. But in that case, I could always be like, well, yeah, you were there beginning. Like, Barry literally made it.
Sure.
By being the Paragon of Love.
Like, did he still exist before that? In some
or
way?
Is it just like, well, maybe this Deathstorm was in the original before all of Crisis stuff, and they just said, bring back everything, but a little bit different, all in one Earth.
So
except for the Earths we don't know about.
So he was here, and then he just kind of like showed up over here, kind of thing.
I would imagine that if you could even say he being an agent without learning this stuff and whatever, he existed, but a new version exists because technically that's all new, right?
Yeah.
It's a new Earth. It's
He would have
new.
had to have existed before,
Yeah,
right? Because
I
why
think
would
so.
they like make him? Why would you be like,
Yeah,
you know what I
get you.
need? I need a
I
Ronnie
understand.
ghost monster.
Well, we were talking about this in Superman and Lois about how like, well, events that have happened before and then events that are happening now, you have to kind of like mix the rules together to be able to make a cohesive thing. So now you have stuff like this where I'm like if I was Barry and like, you know, Deathstorm said like I was there in the beginning, you can't comprehend. I could be like, I created the universe, bitch.
I guess, or recreated.
Sure.
But yeah, because there was nothing at that last point.
Yeah.
But then they're like, yeah, make everything how it was, and
Sure.
then change these things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But I get it. What was the thing he said before? I wrote Mattes, but that's not right.
I didn't understand what that was.
I don't know what it is. Maltas?
Yeah.
Mattes?
Is
I
that
don't know if it's
character?
in hell or what, but it was. I don't know.
Is that a
Is it a place or
form? Is that like
a god?
Is that what you call like the
Tomates?
entire universe in the space of one atom before at the beginning of the Big Bang?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. Who said it? Do you remember what it was?
He did. But I don't know.
Like, was it him when he was talking to Killer Frost? Is that what it was? Is that when it was?
Yeah, it was during the whole like beginning of I was there at the beginning thing.
Yeah, but I
I'm
just
not
couldn't
sure
remember if it
where.
was him talking or if it was. I mean, there was so many different phantoms as they called them.
I imagine if it's a thing that we don't know that's from the comics, we'll learn about it in Q&As or something. Before Maltus. Do we want to Google what Maltus is?
I wrote Matus, like tomatas. I was like, that's not right. What did I write down wrong? I don't know what a Maltus is. I don't know if it's a comic thing or a real life thing.
I don't know. Look it up.
Center of a great civilization of humanoids, now almost forgotten from a DC database.
Okay.
Civilization's heyday ended when a scientist named Krona conducted experiments of a nature perilous to reality itself. But over 10 billion years ago, Maltus was the center of a great civilization of humanoids that are now almost forgotten.
Okay.
So he's older than that, who was 10 billion years old.
Maybe we're setting up another thing that will come later, because this is kind of the end of the Deathstorm arc, right? Like we had Armageddon.
What's next?
We had what was last time, and then we had the Deathstorm.
It's like we wrap up Deathstorm now, and then we move in. Because you know what else was interesting was, it wasn't that it was forgotten, like it was mentioned, but there wasn't much with Iris's sickness.
No.
You know, like nothing disappeared.
Yeah.
Like she was holding Barry and stuff, or I think her dad as well, like, you know, touching them. Whereas like last time we saw her, I feel like it was like, don't touch anything, stay away, I'm afraid of doing this or that. But Eddie mentioned it, talked about her sickness and how she's gonna die.
Sure.
And so did Nora.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything with it, which was interesting. And I don't know if
Yeah.
it was Deathstorm stopping it.
Yeah.
Was it, you know, her mind's preoccupied, and I don't know.
Do you think that you like can't help but be affected by the Deathstorm?
The grief
spirits?
thing. So that was one thing I was thinking about too.
So I
Which
feel like I know this is happening. We know what he's doing. We like have verifiable proof that's what's happening. Like as soon as I see a loved one that has died, I feel like I'm gonna be like, you can't trick me. Like it's like it's a magician revealing a secret. It's like once your secret's out, like I'm not. Like, I really don't think you're a thing. You know?
I agree. And what I was gonna say is like I think the Phantom's there. I think it's more about the feelings. We talked before is like well I can say this or that.
Yeah.
But I can't stop you from feeling what you are feeling.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge that you feel that way.
Sure.
But like I might not agree with it. I think it's kind of in a similar sense of that, where it's like you can know like you can know you've lost this person, and I know this person standing in front of me is not that person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that things they're saying. It doesn't mean that I'm not feeling any feelings. It doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts of grief or that I miss them or
I get you.
whatever, you know? So maybe it's like, you know, Chester's like, I know you're not my dad, but it doesn't mean he's not thinking about the dad or grieving the dad. And also what was interesting is that the Chester Allegra thing turned more into like, it's not that you're grieving Esperanza or you're grieving your dad. It's that you're going to watch this person die, and I'm going to feed off the grief and sadness you're feeling because Chester feels like he failed.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like that kind of stuff that they were doing with. So, yeah, I think the same thing with like, it's kind of like how, I mean, Barry's might have been affected a little bit differently, but like he was fighting. He's like, I know you're not my mom, and that doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna, you're not gonna get me with this. And then it got to like, I've gotten over my mom. I understand that grief, and you're not gonna beat me with that either. And then it turned into like all the other stuff, which maybe he does feel, but he hasn't really acknowledged as much.
Sure.
You know, he hasn't dealt with Oliver's death as many times as he's had to deal with his mom's death.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it might be a mixture of like, you can say you know that I'm not who I say I am, but that doesn't mean that you don't feel any of the feelings at all. So it's like a really tricky.
No, I get you.
Teeter-totter, you know?
You know, you can use that one app that, you know, you can point your camera at a picture and it makes the picture look like it's like
looking around.
And like if you do that with a loved one, you go, oh man, this is crazy. Like I haven't seen this person. It feels like they're there.
Sure.
You know, but like, so like, you know, even though I know this isn't real, it still affects you a little bit.
Yeah.
So like something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I would put it kind of like that. Like, you know that your loved one is not alive.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it and it's still affecting you.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like that, because I thought the same thing for a little bit, and then that's when I wrote down like about can't ignore feelings, because I was thinking the same thing. I think you and I thought about it at the same time, where it's like, you're not real. It's like, well, yeah, so just ignore him. Because I was at a point like, don't trust her, Barry, you know? And it's like, well, I don't think he trusts her.
I guess it's just because it's been a thing. Like, Blood Work did it, the Speed Force did it.
For Barry?
For Barry's mom. Like, a thing that's trying to manipulate Barry by showing his mom, but it's not real. Like, it's just a card that's been played so much that even if, like, no, I can see how it happens as a feeling that you can't control and grief and stuff like that, it's just been presented as an obstacle so much that you kind of think, like, you know, it'd be as if Barry, like, always, you know, as he's running out the Speed Force, trips over something. He just never comes over it, you know?
Sure.
It's an obstacle that, like, you should be able to deal with this by now. Or at least, very least, like, trying to play this card on us.
Sure. But he did beat it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he beat that aspect.
It just took him, like, he wasn't facing through the wall. He was sitting there arguing and saying, no, it's not you, for, like, 15 minutes.
You know what I think maybe, too, is, like, maybe, like, that was my first thought. It's like, well, if you can't get out of the wall, phase through. You've seen you phase through things before. But maybe you do something where, like, he tries to phase and he can't, and then you're like, why? Now he's just trapped in here. Like, Deathstorm and his power and his cold fusion and his whatever else, he can't get out. So now he has to face his mom and prove that, well, you don't affect me. I've gotten over this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, you haven't gotten over these hundreds of people or whatever, you know?
When you said these, I looked down and I wasn't looking at your mouth, because sometimes you look at the mouth. I thought you said bees. You know what you're not over? Bees! See that? They haven't played that. Well, they had. They had the bee lady. Fuck.
Yeah, did Flash fight the bee lady? He did, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Never mind. You know what you haven't dealt with? Bees! Oh, that would be fucking great. That would be better than what we got.
I like that Chilblain showed up, though. I'm glad that they. I'm glad they brought him in to do what they did here.
They had to do some work with the guy, but they did it.
Some work.
Nothing like against the actor.
You hate him. You said I hate that guy.
It's just he was just a murderous, shirtless asshole.
Sure, but like Killer Frost was kind of a murderous like asshole too, you know. Like,
True.
But it's kind of changed over time.
Yeah, I get you.
So, and now like he knows who Barry and the Flash are.
Yeah,
you know, like he came in to help.
That,
Like he showed up in time to help out. Like, I wonder if they'll do any more with him. Will he just kind of go off on his own and disappear because Frost is gone? Will he show up and want to help to kind of keep her legacy of what she did around?
I understand what you mean.
Will he get with Caitlin?
Because we lost a member of Team Flash, do we gain a new one? I get what you mean. But technically, just in terms of like the show and production, they're not losing an actress.
No,
because they would have paid her the same regardless of if she appears twice or not.
Sure.
And they'd have to bring him in more, so I don't know.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, from a character perspective,
Yeah,
too,
I get you.
like,
Character thing.
What do you do with him? Like, part of me was like, maybe Caitlin didn't have anyone. You know? Like, but I don't know if that's the right answer either, because that's really weird for, like, she wasn't really interested in him. She was against him.
Yeah.
But, like, sometimes things happen, too, where, like, I mean, how many times have you heard of, like, well, this couple were together, and this one died, and then this one ended up with, like, their sister or their brother or something like that, you know?
Sure.
Like, sometimes those kind of things happen. And I feel like Caitlin and Frost were kind of sisters.
What about fucking Dr. Ficus?
He left. You said that. They burned that bridge.
Well, that was
you
the only
said that. Yeah, you coming back from the dead. She's going to think he's a crazy lady. Why would you want to get back with that? That's what you said. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the general consensus.
I generally enjoyed Chilblain's performance in here, but I'm not saying, like, don't date him.
That was you saying to Ficus. Like, don't date her. She's crazy and seeing her ex, he's dead.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying, like, that guy is out there.
But I don't know. I just wonder what you're
Can
going to
you
do.
imagine if Ficus is like, Hey, Katie, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? How's the thing with your husband that came back from the dead? And she's like, well, they ended up being an interdimensional grief god.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I decided just to date my dead sister's boyfriend.
I feel like you left some out there, but okay.
Ficus is sitting there like, so I just didn't get a call or anything.
She watched your commentary on it and was like, I better not call that guy. He thinks I'm crazy.
Right? He watched the commentary and he's like, he's right.
He's right. Thank
you. Do so much better.
Thank you, grief god.
Right, I'm going to get someone in my own like profession and he ends up like dating Poison Ivy. No!
That would be funny. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder what they'll do with Choblain.
Yeah, we'll see.
But now, I imagine now we start dealing more with the Iris stuff, right? Because we've kind of dealt with the Deathstorm stuff and we got to kind of fix that. Which also I was looking at too. I went back and I counted at one point.
Yeah.
I think there's been like 15 episodes or something.
With Iris
since she kind of first showed some kind of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Though they kind of fixed it, but then Armageddon, it like popped back up and even here she was saying like, I did this in Armageddon to help save Barry, and that seems like what kind of triggered it. So it might have been like she had a little something. Yeah. Dion fixed it, and then Armageddon she did that other thing.
Yeah.
And then now she has this stuff.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't. She's had some weird stuff,
episodes.
but it's been a little different. I was trying to. Okay.
So in 15 episodes, what have we learned about it?
What have we learned about it? Well, it's different than before, than what it started with.
Didn't it just come back?
No, because she wasn't making things disappear, was she?
Oh, before it was just, you have a time sickness. We're like, what's that mean? Nothing. And then everything's okay. And then it's like, you have a time sickness again. It's like, oh shit, what happened? Things are falling apart. You better get away so you don't hurt anybody. It's like, okay. And then she went away and then immediately just started being around people. And then that person disappeared.
So originally back 7/16.
Yeah.
Let's see, which episode was this? There was a Faraday cage, Adam Pulse Rifle. Diggle was there. He was helping with the entropy trap.
Okay.
And then that's when he had the pain. Like they were in the streets and he was hurting and stuff like that. So in that one at some point it said Iris was moving through time and it said Iris sick.
Okay.
So that is when they dealt with that. And that was when Ultraviolet died.
Yeah. And Allegra went Super Saiyan.
So over the next, so that was at the end of that episode because it's lower on my end. So there were 2 episodes before the end of the season. And it felt like they kind of were okay with that. Like Dion, like that's when like Dion took her away and she wasn't around and all that stuff was going on.
Yeah.
And then like episode 1 of this season, she was okay. But it wasn't until I think the 3rd episode when they were trying to get Joe back.
And then she was
losing. And she went back in time and did all that other stuff. And there was the temporal isotopes and negative still force and all that stuff was being mentioned. Like we had negative still force, whatever that was.
Yeah, you're saying things.
So like there was like I think she might be infected with like the negative still force, but it like changed during Armageddon from what it was I think originally, where she was just like traveling through time and he like stabilized her. But I don't know exactly what it is. I'm gonna say we just keep it with the idea that it's a negative still force, and that's why she dissolved Dion. Because he was the still force, and they had the negative still force, and they canceled each other out, and he was like, I'm gone.
Maybe.
But
maybe they'll
it feels
wait
longer.
16 episodes to explain.
It feels longer.
It feels long, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not their fault, right? Because COVID and breaks and stops.
There's a lot of breaks, which I think there's no Flash next week.
Yeah. Jesus! Let's go to Q&As. Why have an eggplant?
What? That's a... I remember that.
I drew an eggplant, but I don't remember why. Anyway.
No, there is a Flash. We won't be here next week. That's what
yes, we have vacation next week. We won't be here. So people are like, well, you idiots, there is a Flash. It will still be a week behind because we'll be catching up when we come back. Is there a Flash after that? Do we double up?
There is a Flash the next... Well, we'll be catching up with it the beginning of the following week.
Gotcha.
So it'll probably be up like, maybe like a Tuesday or something.
Like a Monday night or Tuesday, okay.
Like, and then we'll be watching the next episode on like, I don't know, Thursday or whatever.
Okay, I rescind my... Jesus! That's us. That's all. Sorry.
That's what I was thinking of. That's what it was. All right. We do a Flash. DK Lounge says, well, Eric, looks like you finally get your wish and that we're getting rid of Choblain, but at what cost? Are you happy,
Or
Eric?
we're getting more of him because he's going to be part of Team Flash. We can all hope.
What are you doing that for? How many quotations you need?
Fly away.
Let's see. We got I Am Boba Fett. He says the actor that plays Eddie is good at playing a villain type character.
He is.
Personally, I would like to see more of it. What do you guys think?
He does. I'm watching the final season of Ozark right now, and there's a lawyer that talks like this. Like all he needs to go is a little tiny bit high and a little quicker, and he's definitely gonna have Eddie's voice. This is how I talk, Iris. And it's a little tiny bit Castiel.
Yeah, I was saying, Eddie kind of reminded me of Castiel a couple times. So
yeah, he's not a lawyer. He's like a lobbyist in Ozark.
I've only seen the first season.
You guys probably
I need to catch up on that.
Yeah.
There's like 4 now, right?
Well, yeah. Part 1 of 4 released a couple months ago. Part 2, which is the final everything, released a couple of days ago.
Gotcha.
I'm like on episode 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I watched that first season with Melanie. Maybe we'll watch through more of that. But
Still pretty good.
We're almost done with one show we were watching through.
Yeah.
Just because we're like we watch this so much, we stop watching. Let's go back, finish this. We started watching all that. Silent Angel says, "Well, damn it, I will give it to the show that with 8 seasons in, they're still killing some characters. But wow, the writers hate Caitlyn so much. Love the hallucinations this episode gave. Question: Do you think of Team Flash? Who do you think of Team Flash has the most grief?"
I mean, I understand what you mean about Caitlyn. Caitlyn's stories tend to be what can we take from Caitlyn. The most grief in Team Flash. I mean, I want to say that like Cecile should be able to have the most grief because she can like feel it from everybody, just by numbers.
I'm gonna say Barry,
but Cecile wasn't even attacked in this one.
Barry has more because he has elements of grief that don't even exist in this timeline for other people.
And he has the ability to stop it. I mean, he can literally go back and change things, but he can't.
But he's like, he either can or chooses not to because of what repercussions could be.
Like, it's almost worse that he could if he wanted to, but he can't. Except when he does.
David Jackson. As much as I love this episode, I hate how fast they killed off Deathstorm and didn't really do much with him. So y'all wish we had him longer.
This is better than having him for way too long, like they would with like Cicada.
Sure, like he's been here.
Yeah.
Because even what they've had so far, it's like Eric was saying, like the grief thing. Like they kind of did the same thing with Flash, where it's like dealing with the same thing with the mother thing. But since he's shown up, it's been like grief. You know, like it's just been the one note.
I don't know if having 10 episodes of this would have fixed any problems I had.
Sure.
But it certainly, I didn't have more problems because it stuck around too long.
Yeah. They already established that, like, he was strong and fast, could just kill stuff. Like, Barry couldn't catch him and stuff. Like, they established how strong he was.
Yeah.
So, like, do we just have, like, 5 more episodes of him just, like, going around killing people and getting grief?
Maybe. You know what I really like? I like the news lady being like, someone's killing people. And then at the end, it's like, they stopped. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. Like, we don't have to worry about him anymore. Ross Max says, no! And then crying faces. Super sad that Frost died. Didn't want her to die, but at least she died a hero.
Yeah.
Hashtag Rip Frost. My question, what was your favorite Frost moment or scene? Loved the blue frosty lightning at the very end, too.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked when she had that sweet, like, Frozone travel sequences. Those are probably the
Remember
best.
when, like, it was one of the crossovers. And I remember, like, everyone's like, shh, and she's like, shh, and just, like, slid in, like, Iceman and stuff.
Like, the Flyers came in, like, people that can fly, and then she came in on the ice. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
I think that's my favorite part with Frost. And in terms of actual, like, character stuff, I mean, the stuff with Icicle, her father, whatever, was interesting, but... Yeah, I mean, just, I guess the idea of being able to have a whole different power base that's not just run
fast. You know what my favorite part was? Was when, like, Cicada was there, and she's like, shh, and he's like, oh no, I'm stuck. And then she's like, oh, let me turn to Caitlyn, help this person. And then she was gone, and then he was like, ha ha, and he flew away.
The fuck? What are we doing? All metas must die.
Stephen Hearn says, hey guys, were you shocked about Frost? I wasn't, but I will miss Frost. I am kind of happy they killed off someone in a way because it's been a while since they killed someone off. And with it being Frost, it means we don't lose the actress since she'll still be playing Caitlyn.
I mean, if you were to say, hey, they're killing Killer Frost in this episode, when we started the episode, I would have been shocked. But there's a certain format and cadence and rhythm of these shows, and I felt like certain things happened 6 minutes before they should have. In which case, I'm feeling an impending sense of dread that the show's not really communicating, but I'm feeling because I'm like, no, something else has to happen here.
Sure.
And that, unfortunately, was like, what if they, like, in my head, I'm going, oh, she might die.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah.
So, not surprised, but, like I said, like, in the actual episode, like, if you were telling me in the beginning that she would die, I'm like, what? No. But it felt like it was natural in the sense of the story they were telling.
Captain Comics says to keep up with the tradition of CW spoiling stuff, the showrunner actually announced last week or so that a main character would die this episode, though a lot of people thought it would be Iris.
Huh. Well, you know what? A lot of people have asked us, like, how are you guys still enjoying and watching Flash? We don't watch trailers and we don't look at marketing material.
No.
So anything that can be a genuine surprise or enjoyment isn't spoiled. And then we get to the Q&As and people will just tell us like, oh yeah, all the stuff you liked, they've already talked about that.
We knew this last month.
So
it's like, Jesus.
That's the answer.
All right. Mel the Dark Hero says, they finally give Chilblain some good writing material, and it happens in this episode. We could have had this the whole time. Such a shame. In light of the death of Frost, I think we revisit some of her greatest hits. What is your favorite Frost moment from her first appearance to her last? We kind of talked about that part a little bit ago, but I mean, as far as Chilblain, I did really like Chilblain this episode, and I really liked his. It sucked because they did the Flash and like, oh, it's over, and then they went to the Stinger thing, and it was like Chilblain being like, oh man, I hope everything's gonna be okay. I have these tickets I got, and she's gonna hate it, but secretly she's gonna love it, and I just want to see that smile on her face, and I'm like, oh man, this is terrible.
It's not like the most profound writing achievement to take what was almost a nothing character and give him character. But we gotta remember, when he was introduced, he was a good-looking guy that works the bar. Turns out, he's fucking killing folks, and he's like,
he's a genius.
Yeah. And then and he also has no shirt on. He looks amazing, right? Yeah. Like, straight men around the world be like, I'm questioning things.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then he sticks around. Why? Because Killer Frost is like, well, he's real hot.
He was.
Like, okay. And then, like, they give a couple things where he's like, I turned state's witness, and I'm not too bad of a guy now. So it goes from, like, nothing to 1. Like, let's just say 1 out of 10 in terms of character development. He has a 1 now, but that's so high compared to 0. I'm sorry. 1 to 2. How about do that?
Sure. But you know what else they kind of did that with? Was, gotta get my money!
Yeah,
right?
No, sure.
Like, that guy was just I want money, I'm gonna burn the city down to get it.
Appears twice in the show.
Yeah.
Chilblain kept coming back.
Good.
They kept giving him that fucking open...
Yeah, that was yellow with the things.
And he had a terrible fight with Killer Frost that one time.
It could have been
Do
better.
you remember how bad that fight was?
There's been worse fights and better ones. And it's not Eric.
I can think of 3 worse fights.
How Cicada went,
No, I
put down a 4.
That wouldn't count as a fight.
I know. That's how bad it was. SWA says, intense episode. I wish the fight scene between Deathstorm and Frost was longer. Man, Caitlin has suffered through so much. Anyway, was the blue lightning at the end of the episode a teasing of something? And congrats on your wedding, Eric.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. The blue lightning confused me because it did feel like, wait, is that just blue lightning? Like, we just colored the regular lightning blue to honor Killer Frost?
That's what I thought it was.
But, like, why can't they have, rather than have, within some ice and snow or something,
They said, someone said because of this.
What is that?
It's when she changed and had, little lightning on her.
Okay, I guess. Maybe. Yeah.
So that doesn't want to respond to them. But
like I said when it happened, I was like, I don't think I get it. I'm not saying it doesn't understand itself.
Jack Fern says, are you guys sick of them not making Chester and Allegra a couple yet?
Yeah.
Like, either do or don't.
Yeah, I'm sick of it. I've been sick of it, and I will continue to be sick of it. This didn't help. They were starting to, talk about it, and it didn't.
I mean, it's not a good time when you're burning to death.
No, I get you.
Right? If you were in the oven, you're going to be like, you know what? I should tell you I love you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you should, because you think you're going to die.
I think...
She did say, I've never been happier than, knowing you or something.
I feel like it's easier, at this point, it's easier for them to turn Chilblain into a valued, I can't not have him on Team Flash character, than it will be to get me excited when those two eventually, after all this time, acknowledge their feelings and date. It's just I don't care.
Caleb Diaz says, "Hey guys, sorry to hear about the Legends cancellation. Just wanted to say thanks for the amazing reactions over the years. Think their story maybe will be continued in another show like Flash. Legends never die, right?
I would like a Christmas special, or even just
Give me
something just
TV
to give
movie.
us, something to give us a little bit of. It sucks that they went and got Donald Faison and he's on board, and then they have to make the call to Donald Faison like, hey, we got canceled. It just had to have been an embarrassing phone call. So that sucks. But actually, the cool thing is when we started Blind Wave, Arrow was already running. Flash was running for a little bit, but we watched episode 1
of Legends
Legend of Tomorrow. So we've reacted to each and every episode of Legend of Tomorrow, and it's one of the longest in terms of actual years of running with it. It's one of the longest series we've ever done. So
it is.
Yep.
It's another. We don't have a whole lot of full series that we started with episode 1 and went till it was done.
Sure, we did Doctor Who, and that's longer. But we did it every week. Whereas Legend of Tomorrow, we watched 15 episodes and then a break, and then 15 and then a break, and we did that for 8 or 7 years. I should say. Flash we started halfway in.
I mean, we've been around for about 7 years doing reactions and stuff, and that was one of the first ones that popped up.
So it's a bummer.
Thanos says Frost woke up and basically said, "Fuck this shit, I'd rather die," then went back to bed. Overall, I thought it was a terrible ending for a villain.
Yeah.
Flash is so fast. Why couldn't he just remove the Firestorm Matrix from Deathstorm's chest?
Maybe you can't touch him until you are him.
There is some heat stuff related to it, right? They were getting burned inside the buildings, let alone trying to touch him.
And Eddie was invulnerable.
Yeah.
Until
Ronnie
got stabbed.
He got frozen and stabbed. And didn't matter either. So maybe it's having to do with
Since
how
Flash and Lightning can't touch me, so I guess just can't do it. You have to be on par with him.
Which it seemed that's what we got with Hellfrost. And she sacrificed herself to do it.
Yep.
And she absorbed him too. So say we got that off, where he would have still been around. What was Flash gonna do then?
Yeah, he would have been just burning fire, black fire, right?
Yeah, he would have been back to what he was before he got the Matrix on him, which was still out there killing people.
Yeah.
So maybe they could have then found a way to absorb him into a ball again or something if they still have that. But all right, we'll do one more here, which is from Lover Sashimi, who says, "Do you think Caitlyn is going to leave the team forever, or perhaps another choice is that she leaves the team temporarily to deal with Frost's death? And if she does leave the team forever, how would you feel about it?" How would you feel about it?
I don't think so. I think that Daniel Panabaker is going to stick around. We're going to have Caitlyn still be the doctor, the medic, that version of science that Cisco wasn't in charge of.
Sure.
And now we have Chester. So I think that should stick around. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's she's on a sabbatical or something, dealing with the loss of Killer Frost, or she's with her mom or something like that. I don't know. I mean, you could have a break.
I don't think that she's gonna leave the show.
No.
But maybe be gone for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm more curious on what we do with Chilblain.
Interesting.
Because I don't know what you do with that character. Do you just send him away and you never see him again? Or do you, now that he knows Barry's secret, do you keep him around, or I don't know.
I'm not uninterested, but am I more interested in him than Caitlyn?
Not that I'm more interested in him than Caitlyn.
The question.
The question of will she leave?
You're so unconcerned that she'll leave. Yeah. That you're not worried about.
I'm more wondering of what they'll do with that character. Maybe he'll be more like Captain Cold, where he wasn't around all the time, but he was around every once in a while. So I don't know. We'll see. But that's the last of our Q&As for this week. Be sure to submit some. I suppose next week still works because we'll watch it early enough. So be sure to submit some next week. While we won't be watching it right away, we will be getting to your Q&As. As soon as we watch the show.
We need a poll. And should the poll be, what did you think of the demise of Killer Frost? You liked it? You didn't like it? And maybe in the comments after you answer that question, what has been some of your favorite Killer Frost moments?
Let's do that.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Because within that, too, you can talk about if you enjoy how she kills off Deathstorm or not, too, or if you think that she should have lived, or if you're very sad and you can be crying. You can be crying.
Are you sad?
Lots of people cry.
Vote.
I had a tear.
Did you have a tear?
I had a tear, yeah.
I didn't see a tear.
It was when Caitlyn and Chilblain, they both got me. I was thinking about her losing her sister and him losing his, who he loved. I know it's like to love someone as much as I love myself.
I know. You put me in that thing, I wouldn't have been able to do shit to Deathstorm. No grief.
None.
You robot. Guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of The Flash with us. As we said, we're going to be late on the next one, but if you subscribe and turn on your notification bell, you will be notified as soon as we make up for that reaction. Thank you. We're going to enjoy our vacation. Make sure you enjoy your next week, too.